What's up, viewers and subscribers? Welcome back to D&D News Media. Now, guys, I'm very pissed. I'm very upset right now. And for the people that I love the mix-up and the cascas, this video, I don't know mix-up business. So, if you not look to get some mix-up, you go over Ragashanti Live. A serious business we are going to talk about over here so right now. As what I say, in this video is a serious matter. And it's not about me, it's about the country and it's about the welfare of our women and our children. So I need every woman to watch this right now and every male to share this. Don't share this because you want to please me. Share this because you want the better of the country. Share this because you want the world to see this video and hear what go on. At the end of the day, there's a lot of things going on and I come to address a matter. You understand? Because me I watch a live a while ago. Me I watch a live on Instagram a while ago where Lisa Hanna is saying that the government should legalize abortion because abortion will cut down crime. Now, oh dear Lisa Hanna to come and speak like that on social media and saying that abortion will cut crime. You understand? And I don't know what is going on with these opposition. Anytime them say yo, them not have nothing else to use and win election, them not have nothing else for talk about, then just come with some local story, then just come pay a work to this. You understand? What the government need to do right now is legalize gun, give people license gun. Is what I say. I mean I wanna work to this come and tell me about no man I go kill their woman, man I kill their wife. Shut on the mouth, man. Me need a gun to kill my wife if I want to kill my wife. Don't give in. Yo, me upset really bad. You understand? The government need to legalize to make people have them license gun. You understand? And the people them to stop chat foolishness. Because if a man want to kill a woman, he don't need a gun for killing a woman. If a man want to kill a wife, he don't need a gun for killing a wife. You understand? So all I fake work to this them and the woman them. No, man should not get gun and rape because they're gonna kill their woman and kids and rape. How very often man kill a woman? How very often man kill their wife? You understand? Whether you like it or not, them think they are gonna always go on. We are talking about the better of the country. It is more effective when everybody have at least a legal firearm. You understand? But anyways, my people, I need enough to share out this video. Make sure you turn on the notification bell. Make sure you subscribe. And we're not going to tolerate this, We're not going to tolerate this from Lisa Hanna. You understand? We need a public apology. We need a public apology from Lisa Hanna. You understand? We're not going to tolerate this behavior. You understand? And then I noticed to most of the women them where never give birth yet or don't plan to give birth, them always coming at the media, act like them love kids, act like them care for kids, and then them same one end up always come and chat a bag of foolishness. That's what I say. And that is the reason why I have the picture with she and the little boy in this, Because anyway you see them a kiss pitney. Them a hug up pitney like them love kids and you understand what I say, viewers and subscribers? It's not safe at. No, don't get me wrong, If you can't afford to mind pitney, do not breed. If you know you're not stable, do not breed. Because somehow I want to cause this man himself too. We don't have one pitney and I'm not dead for hungry and go and breed again. We don't have 3 pitney and I'm dead for hungry and go and breed again. You understand what I say? Someone need to stop it. Someone want to bring down poverty upon yourself. You understand? I want to cause it. You must stop it, man. Stop it. You understand? If I want pitney I can't afford to take care of, don't breed again. Stay with the one pitney. You understand? Now breed up. Like on a goat. Like on a hog. You understand what I say? But viewers and subscribers, I make you watch a video. Make you jump in it and want to listen to this keenly. Make sure you watch the video to the end because I want to hear every single detail, I want to get every information. Alright, let's go.
Just be a statistic, all under 41 years old. And that's troubling for many reasons, because their families are affected, Their loved ones are affected, their friends are affected, and somehow we just keep continuing to move on. One of the unfortunate things that's happening is that between January of this year, January 1, 2021 to November 30th, 2021, 5,429 Jamaicans have been affected by crime and violence. That's 17 persons per day. So on any given day, 4 Jamaicans or 4 persons will be murdered in Jamaica. 3 will be shot, 1 will be raped, 3 will experience a break-in. And you can go back and swipe to see some of the other statistics that are there. Now, what is happening is that Jamaica has the 2nd highest murder rate in the world. The 2nd highest murder rate in the world. And we have the 2nd highest rate of femicide in the world. That's a killing of women. Now, the WHO actually says if you have an epidemic, that's 10 people who die per 100,000. Jamaica actually has 13 women who are murdered per 100,000. And that is actually some serious things. And I really want you to let that sink in. Dr. Herbert Gale at the University of the West Indies presented in 2019 at a crime summit that the opposition actually had. And it was a multi-sectoral crime summit with the private sector organization, other government officials, etc. And one of the things that he said that jolted me is that 53% of all persons who commit murder in this country say that they were tortured by their mothers. In other words, how their mothers loved them, how they treated them, how they felt abused. And within that statistic, 75% of those persons who had killed twice were tortured by their mothers. And those who had killed even multiple times, and women, say that they had a real angst against their mothers. I remember when I was Minister of Youth and Culture, and I led a team. I wasn't responsible for children in remand centers, but I led a team with psychiatrists, and I went to go and look for the girls at Fort Augusta who were being held. We subsequently took them and separated them from adults, but there was one little girl that still stays with me. She was 13 years old, and she was incarcerated for uncontrollable behavior. Yes, parents actually take their children to the police station and says that they can't control them. This little girl was sucking her finger, resting her head on my shoulder, falling asleep while I was talking to the other young women, and all of a sudden she jumped up. Miss, you know, I'm going to kill my mother though. And I said, but why would you want to kill your mother? And she was very graphic about how she was going to do it, because she felt her mother did not love her. All the mother did was tell her how awful she was, beat her every day, she didn't feel she was loved. And she felt also that it was her mother who took her and locked her up. But it goes on, because what you find is that when you look even closer at the data, and that data exists for everybody to see it, 18% of our population right now in Jamaica between the ages of 15 to 34 years old are male. 75% of all murder that was committed in 2020 was committed by this age group. So if we're really focusing on crime and looking at what is happening, you will find that we really have to focus on addressing this segment of our population. Something has gone wrong with our men, because 80% even of these kinds of murders are gang related. So today, I felt I needed to even dig even deeper, because one of the benchmarks that declares, or when a country is going through a civil war, is how many murders you commit by 100,000. So for a civil war, the international benchmark is 30 murders or 30 deaths per 100,000 if you are going out there to slaughter people. Right now, Jamaica is at 46.2. 46.2. Let that sink in a little bit. And now crime actually costs Jamaica 5% of GDP, or gross domestic product. And what is that? What is that figure? That's $100 billion. $100 billion works out in our population to $39,000 per person. Now imagine what you could do with an extra $100 billion in Jamaica. What kind of schools you could build, your healthcare systems. But the reason why we're not having that money is because we're missing investments. Nobody wants to invest. I actually saw a comment under the article today that somebody wants to invest in Jamaica, but because of crime, they're not going to do it. And people are retiring in other countries. So because of the levels of violence, the high levels of violence that we have, people are not investing in Jamaica. And we're missing out deeply. And they're taking their resources to other countries. Even Jamaicans don't want to open businesses later. Now here is a fundamental problem, and people allude to it. But when you look at former PSOJ, Private Sector Organization of Jamaica President Howard Mitchell, actually says, look, the private sector is prepared to fund any kind of crime fighting mechanism in this country. But the problem is they want to see the kind of bipartisan, non-partisan approach between government and opposition, and a multi-sectoral approach that also includes social interventions. And that whatever is put in place in the medium to long term, because crime is not going to be fixed overnight, is that any government or administration that comes into power, it cannot be changed. And that crime fighting should not be a political scoring mechanism to score political points on any political platforms or for any political party. Mark Golding, the opposition leader, has said, look, let's start back the Vale Royal talks. Let's get together. The opposition does not agree with temporary states of emergencies because it robs people of their basic human rights, but also it doesn't help to solve crime, right? Because it takes away the police investigative mechanisms. So you need other medium-term to long-term strategies. In addition to that, you need social intervention programs like the Peace Management Initiative to be stronger and unite for change. Problem is, our Minister of National Security and Dr. Horace Chang has said, look, in his years, he has seen over administration to administration, and he uses St. James as an example, that with all the social intervention programs that are there, crime and murder has not really gone down. And he uses St. James as a parish. So he doesn't think that they have actually worked, because in 1997, murders in St. James, or crime, was 12 per 100,000. It's now up to...
Viewers and subscribers, comment in the comment section and let me know what you think. You understand? Leave your opinion in the comment section. That's what I say. Big up on yourself.
The only time you're seeing
Yeah, man.
crime,
All
murders
right.
come down,
I'm
and
out.
crime come down in St. James is with the states of emergencies. Now, how will we solve crime and violence? How will we come together? Because if you have the opposition and the government disagreeing with such divergent positions, then we have to find a mechanism to move forward. The data also suggests, those who have done the research, is that from the 1970s, all the major operation anti-crime programs have failed. Kingfish, Acid, Echo Squad, Operation Ranger, Operation Intrepid have all failed to really solve and curtail the crime, or certainly the murders coming down. So what Carl Stone, even from the 1970s, have said, hey, look, until you bridge the marginalization in this country and the social inequality, you will always have crime. You will always have violence when people feel that they're marginalized, and when you have poverty. So we have to figure out a way to erase that marginalization and bring equality. That's not rocket science. And those of you who speak to people who are on the periphery and on the fringes of their daily lives, you feel the resentment, because many people who turn to a life of crime will actually tell you, look, I'm just trying to feed their family. Now, here is something interesting. In 1989 in the United States, crime was at its highest level ever, right? And then all of a sudden in the 1990s, it started to fall. And criminologists were startled. They couldn't figure it out. And then experts said, well, guess what? We have better policing, police reforms, the crack and different drug markets have changed, and they went on and on and on. There were two economists who said, hang on a minute, something isn't right here, because there is no real direct correlation, using one of them, because one of the arguments was that the economy was stronger in the 1990s. And what they said was, look, in the 1960s, even with a stronger economy, violent crime was surging as well. And even in the 1990s, when unemployment went down by 2%, crime was falling by 40%. So they said they can't see the correlation between the stronger economy. And they went to look at different things. The two economists are Steve Levitz and Stephen Dubnow. You can go and look them up. Then, when they looked a little deeper, they found something that they credited for the reduction of crime in the 1990s. And this was a controversial revelation that they came up with, and because the data supported it. It was one single decision. That single decision in 1973 was Roe versus Wade, giving women the ability to have legal abortions. Now, I know some of you will probably come off of this live and say, look, Lisa, we're not listening to it. I can't believe we went in this direction. But the data doesn't lie, because right after that was passed, 750,000 women who felt that they could not care for a child had a legal abortion, because what the economists saw was that it was only middle class and upper class women who could afford it, and that women who were in abject poverty, generational poverty, their children would turn to a life of crime. So by that time, by 1980, they had 750,000 women who could legally afford to say, look, I can't do this. And by when Roe versus Wade came out, and by 1980, it was 1.6 million people. That was 1 in every 4 women who were now choosing not to go forward and have a child that they could not take care of. Now, it's the data. It is controversial. But imagine in a country at that time of 225 million people at that time, where 1.6 million women said, look, we cannot go forward with this situation. And 1.6 million people, women, were no longer birthing children they could not afford. No. Crime will not be solved overnight in Jamaica. It won't. But we have enough crime-fighting plans that exist. Enough summits have been done. Enough papers have been written. They all exist. They're there. What you need is to make sure that people's human rights are protected. What you also need is to make sure that we non-partisan thing. You have to include women in your long-term crime-fighting plan. Women, to give them parenting skills, coping mechanisms, because if you accept the data, that is proven data coming out of the University of the West Indies, that
Viewers and subscribers, I do enough talking. I'm sure now on hear everything in the video. I need enough to comment in the comment section and tell me what you think. Give me your valid opinion. You understand? She touched some points, yes, I can agree with her. But with the abortion business, no, we don't agree with that. You understand? And them only have something to say when time them not have nothing to say. When them are opposition, that's the only time them know what's best for the country. But big up on yourself, my people. Comment, make me